where pop star Aaron Carter has died at the age of 34.
Yeah, the troubled performer grew up in the limelight, but he was in and out of rehab several.
When he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man. When they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them.
Shaw Diddy Combs, did you have anything related to Aaron Carter's startling and, the question is, mysterious passing that has been stirring conspiracy theories and admirers, both theorists, particularly following some claims that raise eyebrows yet are not supported by any, aside from 50 Cent. But prior to diving into 50's charges, let's go back a little and observe the mayhem that surrounds AR in the months before his terrible Aaron's life's dying moments reveal the truth had turned into a tornado of peaks and valleys, and his untimely and unexpected death has left numerous questions unresolved with. Some are blaming Diddy specifically. Is there a deeper, darker possibility? Tale concealed behind the headlines.
Yeah, Rick, MB, the street is now cleared. People have been moving in and out of that home behind me all day. And tonight we heard from some of those closest to Aaron Carter, and they all say the same thing. They all share stories of a very kind, loving, caring, humble, yet troubled young man.
Aaron Carter was a name that most people were familiar with, particularly those who were raised in the late. His role in the 1990s and early 2000s was not limited to younger sibling of the Backstreet Boys. Nick Carter was a celebrity in his own right, from the contagious pop songs such as "Come to Aaron's Party" and enjoy his entertaining. Aaron seems to be the most idle as a teenager, but as he grew older, changed his life, which had been full with screaming fans and sold-out performances, turned into a never-ending battle he was candid about his struggles with mental illness and acknowledged having difficulties that might send a shockwave through anyone's body. By the time when 20122 arrived, Aaron was no longer the members of the Carefree team recalled him, had endured a great deal, including family conflicts to public conflicts, but via it, all he said was the truth. Aaron was renowned for voicing his opinions, whether they was in interviews or on social media. He wasn't afraid to criticize others, believed had harmed him, or alluded to some. Among the more sinister secrets he thought were beneath the glitter of the. It was this transparency in the entertainment industry. His sump departure felt, even because of that, more terrible and dubious.
You're 29, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this started when you were 7. Because one of the things that I've noticed with you, and God bless you because the stress you're under, but then on top of that, everything's out there. After the DUI, I know that hurts you. Because again,
Alleged
more public.
DUI.
Alleged DUI.
Aaron, on November 5th, 2022, was discovered at his Lancaster residence. The first reports from California were ambiguous when authorities say that they were awaiting additional inquiries. Over the course of the months, Los Angeles coroner and county medical examiner ultimately declared his death to be unintentional, according to official documents. The drowning situation was made worse by materials discovered in his system. Yet this justification didn't sit well with all those in close proximity. Friends, relatives, and even admirers started to ask why the story is being told, because Aaron had been delivering some quite mysterious communications during the days and weeks preceding. Prior to that tragic incident, Aaron had been vociferous, especially on social media, regarding he discussed people because he felt unsafe observing him, keeping up with him, and even he stated that he thought he was being targeted by someone, but these weren't merely arbitrary thoughts from either those closest to told him that Aaron was truly afraid for his life. Over the weeks preceding, he had contacted a few people before his death, hints from others that he had significant details regarding some strong personalities in the entertainment sector. Yet a single name kept appearing in his talking with Diddy calories.
She hadn't seen him all day Friday and then decided she always gave him coffee in the morning, made coffee for him. So she went to his door, his bedroom door, and knocked on it, and then heard the dog in an extremely agitated state inside Aaron's bedroom. And that's when she decided she would open the door, and she discovered him. But it looks, Brad, like he had been for some time.
Let's get one thing now. Diddy and Aaron Carter weren't straight. Precisely the nicest buddies they encountered. Mostly in different circles, but Aaron's involvement in the music industry from such an early age has surely encountered numerous powerful figures, and Diddy was undoubtedly among. Over the years, there have been rumors about them regarding Diddy's purported participation in actions that are not limited to running a. He has been associated with a popular record label. Among the most enigmatic and terrible incidents that occurred throughout the show sector, as well as for someone like Aaron who wasn't scared to voice their opinions, this could have been a risky situation to be in. Actually, a few days before to his death, Aaron shared a fascinating remark on. It was sent to no one else on Twitter. Compared to you, it just read, "Let's talk." Now, man to man, at first look, this could appear to be simply another Aaron tweet. However, considering the situation, it's challenging not to question what he meant when he said it was contacting a person he believed could comprehend his difficulties, or was Aaron attempting to release a burden from his chest, being aware that he had also spoken out about the music's darker aspects. Industry, after everything that you have, his share of contentious remarks regarding the entertainment industry, even criticizing influential people for having authority over artists' lives could. Aaron has been attempting to alert you to something larger, something that might put them both in jeopardy.
My family knows. Before I did the show, the doctors, they knew that I was taking Xanax and stuff like that, and that I was going to actually psychiatrists to do that. I know that there is no happy ending to any of those medications.
Proud of you for realizing that.
This is where things become even more fascinating. Aaron was discovered the night before, had communicated with a number of individuals. While the specifics of these discussions still unknown, while there have been reports, Aaron's phone was discovered in a distinct place from where his body was found, and this may appear to a small detail, but for people who know, with misplaced true crime cases, property can occasionally be a warning sign. According to Aaron's friends, his phone was his constant companion. Why was it constantly connected when using it? Discovered that he was attempting to leave a note for a person, or was another participant in those final minutes as additional details came to light. The matter pertaining to Aaron's death becoming hazier, and it wasn't long until there began to be speculations that federal investigators were examining it more closely at the circumstance, typically scenarios such as these disappear from view after a formal cause has been established, although Aaron's situation appeared somewhat different. According to insiders, there was more to the narrative, and that specific characters in the entertainment sector was being discreetly looked into their potential participation, and yes, Diddy's name was reportedly on that list.
Thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do
Why did he think that someone would as strong and prosperous as Shaw Diddy? Are Combs related to Aaron in any way? Well, Carter, it all boils down to the notion that Aaron was aware of something. He been investigating a number of conspiracy theories, hypotheses, and had apparently discovered some information that might have caused harm the professions of some well-known, whether it had to do with Diddy's suspected ties to shady activity or anything more hazardous. Aaron appeared to think he had fallen on a secret that might expose him to. Let's not forget about harm's way. The name Diddy has been connected to several enigmatic incidents in the entertainment. He has been discussed all across the world over the years in relation to a number of well-known Events such as the untimely death of the notorious Big and Shakur, but none of these relationships have ever been demonstrated that Diddy's name continues to appearing in these circumstances is sufficient to evoke curiosity about what Aaron might have learned something concerning Diddy's history. Was Aaron, or was he a target, merely stuck in the middle of a lot of greater fight for dominance within the entertainment sector?
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Ain's mysterious communications about his growing paranoia and his abrupt death has caused many people to think that his tale is more complicated than it appears, along with federal investigators allegedly looking into a situation more thoroughly. There may be more revelations to come. Could the death of Aon be imminent? A component of a wider silencing trend? Those with excessive knowledge? And if so, what part did Diddy play in this whole thing? Aaron's experience is obviously far from over. When additional information becomes available, the public has more queries than responses, and some observe Ain's death as a terrible mishap that some people think was caused by something much greater. The ominous prospect that Aaron was quiet because he understood it was a terrifying idea, but it's an impossible one, readily disregarded as we keep working, putting Aaron Carter's puzzle pieces together. Diddy maintains his moniker throughout his life, remaining in the background and creating a darkness across the whole story.
A U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male sex workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
Afterward, there's the issue of Diddy's well-known parties, which have become the focus of gossip and rumors that these gatherings were attended by some of Hollywood's biggest names. Were said to be more than just glitzy events. Based on a number of sources, they were events where influential people would get together to talk about business and possibly participate in better quality activities. Kept out of the spotlight, Aaron's probably worked in the field for a long time, participated in or were aware of these activities. Could Aaron be the one among those who had something was heard or seen at one of these parties that endanger him? The gossip about Diddy parties has continued for years, with numerous claims that they served as elicitation hot zones, activities, with some even arguing that these events served as a means for Diddy to keep some individuals under control in the sector by extending an invitation to these. He could keep the private events close to guarantee their allegiance and possibly use their actions or observations against them if required. If Aaron had gone to these parties or had acquaintances with it, conceivable that he knew something that potentially harmful to Diddy, and if that's the case, it's his empire. It's easy to understand why Aaron could have felt endangered.
And the only person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, it's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man.
In actuality, we might never be fully aware of Aaron's knowledge or what he intended to disclose, but the reality that he was contacting, hinting at something, is something that people like. Larger implies that he was aware of something pertaining to Diddy or another individual in the entertainment industry that Aaron thought he had discovered. A secret that has the power to alter everything. And sadly, his life was short, sufficient to spread it over the world as we keep exploring the specifics of Aon's life, and the passage of one item turns into evident that there is more to this tale than meets the eye. The relationships between Aaron Diddy and the unsolvable scenarios surrounding his death are also compelled to disregard, and with federal investigators are allegedly investigating the case, it will just take a little while before any details are revealed. If this will result in solutions or there are still unanswered questions yet, there is no doubt that Aaron Carter's the story is far from over.
Right. Well, Kim Porter, you know, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children.
Right.
Has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Oh, no.
And this is all in a memoir.
And we'll leave you there. For now, Aaron's mystery. Carter's death is still being investigated, and every time a new detail is revealed, the narrative only becomes increasingly intricate. Yet as we proceed to investigate these links, the question still stands: could Diddy actually be engaged in a far darker activity? More than anyone could have predicted, so keep checking back. Since this tale is only getting started to disintegrate, so what role does 50 Cent play? Why, of all people, is he pointing at this? Making strong gestures and pointing fingers at Diddy. Allegations regarding Aaron Carter's premature death. To realize that you must take a deeper examination of the lengthy and frequently harsh. There is no history between 50 and Diddy. Concealed fact that these two have experienced a considerable number of public disputes regarding the years. But what's intriguing is how profound their feuds and the potential tie. 50 Cent's investigation into these recent allegations, who goes by Curtis Jackson in real life, has established a reputation as one of the most vocal artists in the music industry. He has never been the type to hold his tongue, and he has been the target of some of the most well-known figures in the game. However, his feud with Diddy, which is on a completely different level of tension between. For a long time, these two have been simmering, longer than 10 years, and it's far more than. Some claim it's just a business competition, individual, while some think it's about something considerably more sinister.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there.
It all began in the middle of when 50 Cent released a song in the 2000s, referred to the bomb he threw some. In the song 50, Diddy is seriously disparaged, implied that Diddy could have a connection to the enigmatic death of the infamous be one of the closest pals of Diddy and partners. The lyrics were direct and audacious. It gave barely any room for imagination. 50 didn't mince words, suggesting that Diddy knew more than he was disclosing. The situation involving Biggie's. This was a serious accusation. And although Diddy dismissed it at the seed it sowed at that moment has only expanded with time, so why would 50? Some people think that Cent makes such a claim. 50 were able to access insider knowledge based on his personal connections in the field. After all, 50 wasn't simply a rapper. He played a significant role in the hip-hop scene that has connections to some of the largest brands in the industry. It's probable that he had heard that others were hesitant to speak regarding openly, and whether 50 was prepared to make such a strong claim on Biggie and Diddy at the time. So who can say he didn't know a few other details regarding Diddy, whom he had been clinging to?
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
Let's fast forward to the present day, and 50's charges have assumed a fresh lives, although the original feud might have began with assertions regarding Biggie. It 50 Cent appears to suddenly accept Diddy's influence goes well beyond that incident. In reality, 50 has suggested Diddy's involvement in,
allegedly
or
high-ranking
at least
supervisors
cognizant of several
in the business,
questionable activities within the sector,
security staff,
including the terrible
household
demise
staff.
of Aaron Carter too. 50, did he stand for anything greater? Emblem of the unbridled authority that some people in the entertainment industry have frequently with disastrous results. But this is where things get even more complicated. Intriguing, even though 50 Cent has consistently spoke openly his mistrust of Diddy, his most recent remarks have been more personal tone. It goes beyond commercial competition these days, it seems. 50 is determined to reveal what he believes there is a harmful undercurrent in the Sector 1, which he thinks Diddy is at the heart of. And when you think about Aaron Carter's history of voicing such concerns prior to his, it's easy to understand why 50 may be trying to make the connections between the ideas. 50 has been explicit in interviews about for Diddy's way of life and business. He frequently makes reference to Diddy's well-known parties as locations where things occur that most individuals would prefer not to discuss. In accordance with 50 of these parties weren't solely focused on enjoying themselves. They were concerned about keeping authority over, keeping them in line, and making sure that certain secrets remained hidden. For Aaron, for example, who was allegedly examining a few of these secrets, going to one of these gatherings, or perhaps simply being aware of them, could have put him in a perilous position.
For him, although interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
Currently, the notion that 50 Cent is insightful or understanding Diddy isn't only. Over the past 50 years, conjecture has developed a reputation for being knowledgeable about occurring in the music industry behind the scenes industry, and he isn't afraid to voice his opinions regarding it. This is the same one who has highly visible conflicts with everyone from Rick Ross's rule, and frequently he's triumph. So when 50 Cent says something that people are inclined to hear, even if sometimes people don't believe him at first. However, what actually supports 50's accusations against Diddy is so strong that it's no accident that 50 has been making more remarks about Diddy. Approximately when Aaron Carter's case began to garner media attention. Once more, 50 has a talent for figuring out where strike, and it appears that he has been selected this time to target Diddy since he feels like something greater is at play, perhaps as a result of what Aon was stating prior to his death, or perhaps it's due to the fact that 50 has been gathering data throughout time and sentiments, such as this is the ideal moment to communicate it. In any case, it's evident that 50 Cent is resolved to reveal what he perceives as a behavior pattern that is widespread, more than a single or two instances.
It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do.
Currently, the notion that 50 Cent is insightful or understanding Diddy isn't only. Over the past 50 years, conjecture has developed a reputation for being knowledgeable about occurring in the music industry behind the scenes industry, and he isn't afraid to voice his opinions regarding it. This is the same one who has highly visible conflicts with everyone from Rick Ross's rule, and frequently he's triumph. So when 50 Cent says something that people are inclined to hear, even if sometimes people don't believe him at first. However, what actually supports 50's accusations against Diddy is so strong that it's no accident that 50 has been making more remarks about Diddy. Approximately when Aaron Carter's case began to garner media attention. Once more, 50 has a talent for figuring out where strike, and it appears that he has been selected this time to target Diddy since he feels like something greater is at play, perhaps as a result of what Aon was stating prior to his death, or perhaps it's due to the fact that 50 has been gathering data throughout time and sentiments, such as this is the ideal moment to communicate it. In any case, it's evident that 50 Cent is resolved to reveal what he perceives as a behavior pattern that is widespread, more than a single or two instances.
On a documentary, I think a lot of people thought that he was just joking around. It turns out he's not. So this is actually a real project that's being made under his G-Unit movie. And
among the most fascinating facets of this feud, such as 50 Cent's, he presented himself as the story's protagonist. He sees himself as the one confronting, the strong person who is prepared to bring attention to the things that other people would prefer to remain concealed. He's positioned Diddy as the antagonist, the person who symbolizes all of the issues with the sector and whether there's no doubting 50's assertions that he has been successful in obtaining people to take notice. Therefore, what is 50 Cent genuinely thinks Aaron was harmed? Carter, who has yet to release a thorough theory as his remarks indicate, that he thinks Diddy have a certain amount of participation or, at the very least, understanding of the circumstances leading up to Aaron's 50th birthday has suggested that Aaron too much information on some individuals in the sector and that his candor regarding his hardships and anxieties turned him into a. In one interview, the target was 50 even implied that Aon's death was a component of a more extensive trend in which those who too much about the behind-the-scenes activities in the industry themselves in perilous circumstances.
Go back to that 50 Cent post, because I'm going to tell you why 50 is literally is a diabolical genius.
It's crucial to keep in mind that 50 Cent isn't simply dismissing these charges he is a strategic thinker because of trauma, and he is adept at using his position to impact public perception by establishing a connection. The death of Aaron Carter to Diddy 50 is going beyond simply rekindling an old feud, is expressing his opinion over the power relationships in entertainment. He is implying that there are factors at work that most people are unaware of. Observe the factors that can influence careers and even the lives of individuals who venture outside of line. So where do we stand now? On the one side, there's 50 Cent who's make a living after graduating from college by strong and revealing what he perceives as the inequities within the sector on the. However, you have Diddy, a business tycoon who's created an empire but is currently at the heart of a flurry of charges. As usual, the truth is probably found somewhere in the center, but as more and more individuals share their personal narratives, it's getting harder to dismiss the likelihood that this feud is about more than simply rivalry in business.
Just different things that's not really beef though. That's just competitive.
Competitiveness. All right. So you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't.
Do you believe that there is any truth to 50 Cent's assertions regarding Aaron and Diddy? Is this just another chapter, Carter, in their long-running conflict? The entertainment business is actually hiding this dark secret. Tells us what you. Comment here with your thoughts. Thank you for observing, and until the next time, continue doubting everything.